Right, so when they speak about leadership, there is so much to deal with, of course, when we understand the priorities of a leader and the subject in the consideration of what is leadership. In this context, of course, in understanding the alignment of what a leader needs to do and how he needs to incorporate with other people, maybe the senior or the minor, it becomes a very important aspect when we embrace this. And many of the leaders have been out there speaking themselves out, giving orders, giving directions, but at some point it becomes a clash in the environment. As we even deal on this conversation or engage in this conversation rather on corporate leadership, we'll be able to understand how leadership takes a center stage in that particular environment. Maybe it is a place of work, it is the home, it is the environment. How does leadership come in handy to make sure that we have an elevation at the end of the tunnel? What are some of the priorities that leaders take into consideration when they're embracing their authority? Do we have a sense of power when it comes now to leadership control and management? Of course, in these workspaces, there is a clash that happens when there is lack of communication skills from these leaders. There might be a clash in one or the other, but this might be dealt in understand this particular context. And even as they understand this, are they able to share with the rest in that particular home or in that particular environment? My name is Moses Sketch and you're watching The Morning Drift, and because this is a social engagement, of course it's social matters, we are having it on Social Wednesday right across all social media platforms, of course YouTube and Facebook, and of course our website www.lookuptv.co.ke. Leadership is the ability to know what comes first and when and what comes second. Every leader has a home, a family, a church, a business, a school, and the list goes on. What comes first? A leader knows that God always comes first. Almost every seasoned leader will tell you that the family is at most importance. As you get this conversation, ladies and gentlemen, send in your comments and we'll be reading them gladly right here on set. Allow our guest to introduce herself.
Oh, thank you so much, Moses. My name is Sianto Kekayaya. I'm the founder and CEO of Scaling Up Partners.
Amazing.
So what we do is that we help corporate companies by training and coaching their sales workforce.
Indeed.
And by doing that, you find that their productivity levels go up.
Amazing.
And that means that the company sales revenues also scale up.
Indeed.
So that is our vision.
Wow, amazing. It's a
Yes.
good vision, of course, when you talk about scaling.
No, it has been good. We've gotten great feedback from the partners that we have worked with.
Amazing.
And what we usually do is that we ensure that the workforce are really equipped on having conversations with their sales, with their clients.
Indeed.
Yeah, they can be able to match the right needs, the right solutions to the needs of the client. And with that, you'll see that when a salesperson used to sell, maybe they used to offer one solution to a client, and once they use needs-based conversation, you'll find that now they're moving from offering one solution to 3, 4, and even to 5.
Amazing.
So what happens is that it makes the sales exercise to be very engaging. It makes it to be customer-centric, not sales-centric. So you see that what happens is that the salespeople, they get so happy having these conversations because at the end of the day, instead of going to a client's office and they walk out with one solution, they go to a client's office and they walk out with 5.
Indeed.
So it brings efficiency at work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Allow me to ask this question. Of course, you, before you get to a founder, and I believe you scaled yourself up to make sure that you'll be important to that particular foundation. How's the journey been?
Wow, it has been a journey because leadership is actually a journey. I did not start from being a founder. I remember my journey started way back when I was home, when I was, young at home. My father always used to pick me and have conversations about what do I invest in when I was a child. Is this, should I move to this direction? Should I go to this direction? And I didn't used to like such kind of conversations, but I didn't know that I have that leadership in me that I did not know at that particular time. And what happened is that even when I went to high school, I was selected as a captain of the school.
Amazing.
Thereafter, I went to the workspace. I was working with great companies in the banking sector, and they always appointed me in this leadership position. I've worked with ABSA, I've worked with Standard Chartered Bank, I've worked with Sanlam Life Insurance. So it has been a journey of, let me say, my leadership journey started off from a point of being called to lead, not offering to lead. So it's, and that is the aspect about leadership. You could be a leader, but you're not seeing yourself as a leader. But the way you carry yourself, your value system, and how you execute at work, then makes your senior to pick that, and they're able to really say, can we consider you for this role? Because they've seen that you already have the values of a leader.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, and that is why you made it up now to start over Scaling Up Foundation.
Yes, so it has been a journey, and from there I saw a need in the market because I have been in that financial sector.
Amazing.
So being a business development and a leader also in the banking space, I saw that there was a gap in the training industry.
Indeed.
Because most training companies, they come and train, the salespeople, and it's a 1-day training or 2 days training or 3 days training. So what happens is that you don't leave organizations with a culture that has been established and implemented. So what happens is that after those 3 days, they go back to the factory setting, they go back to the usual way of selling. But with our programs, they're long-term, they take time. So why is that important is that we want, by the time we are walking away, and we don't even walk away immediately, we'll still walk the journey with the organization. But we know by the time we are leaving, for example, this company, the sales culture would have been established. And that is why now you'll see that the companies we have worked with, their sales revenues have actually been scaling up.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. That's a good inroad, of course, to have the conversation on scaling up, and I believe it's nice to many that are listening to us right now. In the same seminar conversation, let's a little bit shift gears to leadership itself. So we have corporate leadership now. When we're embracing this conversation, there's so much that happens in corporate society as a leader. Yeah.
So a leader is someone who can intentionally influence others to move in a particular direction. Yeah. So a leader is someone who has that ability, because it is an ability. You are supposed to be able to balance the profitability of the company, because you are there as a leader to drive the vision of the company. So you should be able to balance the profitability of the company and also having the humanistic aspects in consideration. So with that, you'll find that you are creating an environment whereby it's a win-win environment, because the company is achieving their profits, and also the people who are driving that profitability, they're also growing with you. And also as a leader, you're also growing alongside the company, the workforce, and yourself. So it ends up being a win-win situation. So for me, what I've come to realize over time is that really leadership is not, it's a journey.
Indeed.
It's not, they're not those titles. Titles are there, and it's good to have those titles. I'm a boss, I'm the CEO, I'm the, you have a corner office or a big office. And yes, those titles are good, but it's not what drives companies. What drives companies is the vision. So the focus should be on the vision. What is our vision? Yeah, like for us, we want to be the company that offers the best training and coaching services here in Kenya and also in East Africa. So you have to understand as a leader, what is the vision that you're carrying for the company? Yes, and the people who are working around you, are they really the right people you have for the company? Because you have to employ and recruit the right workforce. Because at some point you'll find that you cannot lead in isolation. You cannot have the vision and then you're the one now to execute the mission.
Indeed. And I think that is where the problem now comes in. But hold your thought there. When we get back after receiving this, we'll be able to have the completion and understanding what are the terms of decision making when it comes now to this leadership. Is it wrong? Is it right? So what is the subject of consideration in decision making? So don't go too far. We'll be right back.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the burst of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, kwa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
if you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
But you do not know the God who has been molding me. What has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Lookup TV.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi. Na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Lookup TV. Every Sunday unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
People are there to belittle you. When people are questioning you,
If you don't move fast, of course, yes, you lose it, but then it's not us to push you.
but you do not know the God who has been molding me, what has he been doing to me?
The deep and mature conversations of empowerment for you with a curious mind and an appetite for oriented conversations.
I concur with what you're saying. You plan your finances, you can easily live without a debt.
An engaging safe space of free expression and truthfulness with an upheld vibrance, motivation and happiness.
So many children who are there, they are not living their dreams.
Join us for deep conversations with Zipporah Gashushe every Saturday from 8 p.m. The Deeper Conversations on Look Up TV.
Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali na Manjoro. Kumbuka hapa ndipo unajifunza mambo mengi kuhusu ukulima. Kilimo ni uti wa mgongo wa nchi, na ukiwa na Njoro unajifunza. Kumbuka, angalia mwenyewe. Tunakuambia ukitaka kujua tips za ukulima, ungana na sisi kwenye Look Up TV every Sunday. Unatukuta pale saa 10, tunakuonesha kuhusu ukulima. Ukulima wa mimea, ukulima wa ng'ombe, ukulima wa kuku, ukulima wa mbuzi na yote ambayo yanahusiana na ukulima. Kumbuka nini? Kipindi ni ukulima ni mali.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
If you want to have a proper outlook of the economy, then you have to speak to the wheels and gears of the integral businesses in the country.
And I want to be able to make the youths and everybody coming up in Kenya know that this is here locally.
Men and women in the thick of the bust of markets rising and falling, fighting to make their business decisions stick.
I've always lived in my career that I can never be late.
You need to train by yourself. You need to practice by yourself. Then from there you can compose yourself and give kind of services like this.
On season 2 of the Captain's Arena, we seek the inside of the minds, predict the shift in the markets, get inspiration to start, and make sense of it all.
Just watch what everybody else is doing and just make sure you're giving back to the society.
Oof. This is the Captain's Arena.
Welcome back. You're watching the Morning Brief Social Wednesday right here. We are with Sianto, of course, embracing the fact that there is a need for good leadership in the corporate society, and also in understanding how that leadership engagement needs to be taken into consideration. So you are helping us to understand leadership, and I believe in the same context, we'll be able to understand the right way and the right choices of choosing a leader, and how their leadership skills also matter as well. So maintain the right balance between all the priorities that have been given to that particular leader, and also actualizing the fact that earlier on we were engaging and you say that worthy to that space and taking control as well to the elements of leadership, right? And it'll be helping us understand now all around the deeps and ends of the leadership. Now, in the same conversation, remember, our website is working, www.lookuptv.
Thank you so much, Moses. Yes, so for me, what matters is what angle are you taking? I find that some people, as I was saying, will take it as a command office where orders just flow, you know, yes, or an office where you're not even allowed to step in, yeah, or a place where you don't have that opportunity to just air your opinions as well.
Indeed.
So that can be an angle that some people look at leadership as.
Indeed.
And then there's another angle whereby you look leadership from a point of inspiration, from a point of growth, from a point of stability, and also from a point of it's a purpose-driven appointment.
All right.
Yeah. So the people who look at leadership from the first description I've given, whereby it's a command, you know, office.
Indeed.
You'll find that in the workplace there'll be a lot of resistance.
Indeed.
And it doesn't even have to be in the workplace. Even in the at home, if the people that you're leading as a man, if they view your leadership as a place of command, whereby it's not a place of conversation, then you'll see that there's a lot of resistance. And people will be frustrated. It's going to be an environment that is very toxic. But if you view your leadership, you know, from a place of inspiration, a place of growth, a place of stability, then you will see that people, the work environment changes. People feel that they are cared for because the leader is just not focusing on the company's vision alone, but is also looking at the people who are I can just describe it from a top down, whereby you have the leaders, then you have the management, and then you have the workforce. So you'll see that that structure is a pyramid. You know.
I did.
Do you know what a pyramid is?
Of course.
You know that if it's a pyramid, you know this financial opportunities that people say it's a pyramid. So if it's a pyramid, then there's something questionable about it. Yeah.
All right, that's
there's something questionable about it. So if your leadership is from top down, leaders, workforce, and then leaders, management, and then workforce, then it is a pyramid.
Indeed.
So that describes the resistance that you know, people that you experience as a leader because you are not engaging people. But the current way of leading in the corporate, you know, in the corporate world and even at home, is by leading from different positions. Yeah. At some point, you're at the front as a leader. At some point, you are at the back. At some point, you are just on the side. Yeah.
Indeed.
So a leader is not static. It's not a static position where you just leading from one place. But the current leader, who is a great leader, should be able to move from one location to another in terms of the need that in terms of what does the organization workforce need. If they need you to, if it's that time when you need to share about the vision of the company, the mission of the company, when you're able to give clear directions, then you become now the visionary leader. And then now, when it comes to the execution of the mission, and you've done your part as a visionary leader in a good way, then you step back. You take a back position as a servant leader. So from there, you're giving the people who are working with you an opportunity to be creative and an environment of trust that you don't need to micromanage them for them to perform.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to micromanage them for them to perform.
You just have to be there for them to perform.
You have, because you have shared the vision very well, you have shared the mission very well, the value system of the company they've been communicated clearly. Yeah, the systems are in place, the policies are in place. Then you take a back position and you allow the head of departments and you allow the people to execute their roles. So that is a good way of leading.
Right.
And now on the side is when you are able to mentor or coach
other young leaders,
the leaders or even the workforce.
Amazing.
Because sometimes there's a challenge at work, or sometimes there is maybe they just need guidance. So at that point when they come to you, then you become their mentor, their coach. Ask them questions, find out what is the issue. Then from there, you'll be able now to guide them on the next steps. And with that, you'll find out that the workforce will know that you care for them, you listen to them, and you're going to build trust in the organization. And once trust and cohesion has been built in an organization, then you'll find that the execution of the mission, the execution of the vision, then becomes easy. Then you become a leader who is in flow.
All right. I believe at some point we need that alignment and stability towards achieving better leadership in these societies and in the engagement. Do you think at some point, yes, you've laid out clear, the platform is nice, the vision is nice, everything is well executed, and you now say that my team can roll, is ready to work on what we already had discussed and envisioned at the end of the tunnel. Why do you think there happens a mistake that, yes, you entrusted them to do this, but later on you find that, bado kuna mali they didn't capture well?
Yeah, it happens in organizations, and it's something that we as leaders, we understand that. So it starts with hiring the right people. It's not hiring your
relative,
your other people,
Makuzo.
but hiring the right people who are skilled for the job and who have the passion and drive for the job. So once you hire right, then you're going to reduce a lot of that. But it doesn't mean that they don't arise. So once that arises, then you take on the position of a coach, sit with that employee. What is causing them to behave in this particular way? Because any behavior that is projected, there must be something that the person is seeking to be helped out. Could it be that they have issues at home that they're struggling with, that's why it's affecting their performance? They don't perform. Then as a leader, you get frustrated. Why is this person not in their A game? Could it be that they're dealing with a mental issue? So when that happens, as a leader, that's when now you need to really practice both aspect of hard leadership and soft leadership. Hard leadership is whereby now you look at you're being objective. This is the job role of this person. This is the target. This person has not reached. Okay. So now, how do I look at the possible ways to push this person out?
Indeed. All right. So as we embrace the same conversation, I'd really like to understand now. I believe every leader understands the law of power, and at some point you also need to understand the same with what you said. There's soft leadership and hard leadership. And earlier on, I'd mentioned about decision making, whether to go hard on this person or go soft. But at the end of the time, there needs to be a decision, a steadfast decision to make sure that things are working out. But also to take consideration. So how do we make sure that in the same context and the same design, the same taste of leadership, we will be able to decide and make a stand decision towards everything that comes out of leadership?
Yeah. So with that, as I said, that leadership is a journey. So if it's a journey, then you should be able to...
It can't be a mistake.
To be flexible. No, it can be a mistake, but you should first be flexible enough to give this workforce an opportunity to have those conversations that we have spoken about.
Indeed.
But if it's an issue to do with conduct, there are those aspects that those mistakes or the conduct issues then that are not really, you cannot entertain them as a leader. So sometimes, yes, you have to make those tough decisions.
Indeed.
And it's a quality of a leader. So you see, most people will then ask, do we even need to have a leader? You know, is leadership important? And this one, it really spoke to me when I was, I was traveling, and there was turbulence in a plane.
Indeed.
So there's a pilot, there's a plane, and then there is us.
Wow.
We were in the plane. So there is turbulence, and even as you, for example, as you go into a plane, you are trusting that this pilot will take you to the
destination.
To the destination. So while you're seated there in the plane being flown from location A to B, what you have with the pilot is you're trusting the pilot that they have great skills, they have been trained, they are knowledgeable, they have experience to land you safely to whichever destination that you're reaching. And if there's turbulence in terms of maybe in an organization, there are difficulties, there are challenges, or even you're not happy with how your leader is leading you, what I did at that particular time when there was turbulence is that I said a short prayer to this pilot.
Amazing.
Please, God, help us. Help him to figure out this aspect, and to be able to take us, And that is the same concept that we should have as the people who are being led. View your leader as that pilot. Yeah, you trust when the systems have been set in place that you're supposed to do A, B, C, D. Then
what about too much trust?
Too much trust from
you putting so much trust to your leader, and then return you to eat about.
No. I don't believe there's nothing really like being like too much trust. Yeah, because as I want you to get it, what I'm talking about, the plane aspect of it, because you believe that you're not going to crash because this person, this pilot is experienced. Is experienced to take you to the next stage. So what I'm saying is, then can we have the same kind of them that they're taking you to the right direction? Trust them that they have the right skills and they're equipped. And if there's any challenge, sometimes I say, just pray for your leader. Imagine.
Amazing.
Yes, just say a little prayer.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is why I appreciate that Nani had to do that prayer before we could start. When we're speaking about belief and trust, don't you think too much trust inafanya so many companies are falling down?
Trusting the leader.
Because you've mentioned we need, as you've prayed for them, place your belief and trust in them. Then there's this aspect on too much trust. Later on, the plane doesn't get to the destination. So, and that is why, as we speak right now, the many companies that are seeing fire, and there is a problem. So they have to close down. Don't you think that those are the elements to consider as well?
Yes, of course. The leader has the entire responsibility to use their talent, knowledge to take the company forward. So the success and failure of a company truly lies with the leader.
Indeed.
As much as there are these other systems, these other people who are helping him achieve the vision. So the trust issue is I can look at it from a point of experience of that leader.
Indeed.
If, for example, a company has hired someone who has been a leader in different companies and they have led successfully, then when you trust such a leader, is it how is your trust? You've seen this person has led for the last maybe 5 companies, he's been a CEO, and those companies have been successful. So that's what come into leaders. Yes.
All right.
So yeah, it can be something to question, but I always believe that if you're working in the right company, you know, they also hire the right CEO.
Indeed.
They also hire the right leaders.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right. The important.
I've come to realize that I have to play different roles. I have to wear different hats as a leader.
Indeed.
So at some point, I have to lead from the front. As a founder of Scaling Up Partners, we came up with a vision, with a mission, and all the systems and processes that now I have to communicate the same to the people who we work with together.
Indeed.
So that I step forward, accept responsibility myself in that state of being leading from the back, whereby we have employed the right people, church, because I'm a leader in the women ministry at the Well Church. Amazing. So I found that, yes, I'm leading them, but I'm leading them from the back. The good thing of leading from the back is that you're also growing and nurturing leaders. Indeed. You're giving them space to bring in their creativity, to bring in their expertise, because they also have experience.
Indeed.
They have the skills, they have the knowledge that you can limit them, and that is a good thing of leading from the back, because you're able to see the strengths of your people, you're able to see their weaknesses, and it's a point of coaching.
Amazing.
You call them, then you have a discussion with them. You're also able to learn from them. You know that?
All right.
You can also learn from people that you're leading. Because leaders, we cannot say that we have reached the epitome of leadership. No.
Indeed.
It is a journey.
Indeed.
Yes.
All right. As it is a journey, I'd like us to believe now, you think that there is an importance of having leaders in these particular spaces, and the fact that there is a need for them to be in, and you know, these are the superiors, these are people that are having the vision and are leading us. Do you think there is an importance of having them in these spaces? And of course, when you speak about that, also help us understand, because I've been having encounters as well in terms of, you know, your leaders giving you spaces to unleash what you can do best. Thereafter, they will say that there is I gave you freedom, and there is a room for you to do everything in your own power and your will. But later on, they'll ponder you with that aspect on freedom. How will you embrace that?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Amazing.
So the importance of leadership, it's very clear. If a plane has no pilot, what happens?
Crash.
Will you enter into that plane?
Not really.
You get it?
You can't.
So the importance of leaders is that then it helps organizations to exist.
Indeed.
And once organizations exist, then, for example, me as a, if you are an employee or if you're, you're working in a certain company, then you have the security that I'll continue earning.
Indeed.
Yeah, so leaders are important because not only will they take the company from one step to the next, but also they allow their people, they give them the opportunity to earn.
Indeed.
And so that they can be able to provide for their families. And also, leaders grow leaders.
Amazing.
Leaders grow leaders. So if you have a leader within your proximity, and you are a coachable person, you're a trainable person,
Indeed.
then soon you'll become a leader yourself.
Of course.
Yeah, so if people are able to look at leadership from a positive place,
All right.
then it is a good thing to have. What was the other question, please?
The other question, of course, was the freedom part of it. Then in embracing the same, as you answer freedom, there is a role that I've given you. I'm your leader, I've given you a role, then I expect you to fulfill it,
Yes.
and in your best capacity, you deliver it.
Yes.
But not to how I feel like you have to deliver it.
Yes.
Then I'll crush you in it. How would you approach that?
Yeah, and that is why companies that are successful, they have things that we call performance management.
Amazing. Yeah.
Structures in place, so that, yes, I've taken a back position,
Indeed.
but there are structures that will still monitor your performance.
Indeed.
Yes. So if we find that maybe you're struggling with your performance, it is a coaching opportunity.
Indeed.
So as a leader, you move to that aspect of being a coach and a mentor. So it is those are things that are expected in companies.
Indeed.
Performance can be up and down,
Right.
up and down. But the thing is, what is causing it?
Indeed.
You need to know your people. Yeah, that is why now you need to know about their well-being. Yeah, you need to have a sitting
I've given
with
you a
them.
role.
Yeah.
I've given you a role, but I've the directions.
Yeah.
And you've given me a job. Why then do you step to that job as well?
Why do a leader has to step into
that role that you previously gave me?
Oh, to work?
To work for it.
No, you see, if the leader is experienced, because a leader is experienced has experience, for example, in sales. Like for me, I have been in the sales world for a very long time. Though now I'm the founder of a company that trains salespeople. So if I have an employee who is struggling with the sales, I will just have that moment with them, the coaching moment, just to understand what is the problem and guide them. So you're not stepping to do their job. You cannot step in to do their job.
You did.
No. Actually, you cannot work in isolation. You need people around you.
Indeed.
You need people around you. As a pilot, you can't fly the plane without the passengers.
All right. Do you get angry?
Myself, yes. I get angry.
Jamii kabisa.
I get angry at myself as a founder, myself. I get angry at the people that we work with. So because myself, remember we have a vision where we are supposed to go. And if the current activities are not taking us where you're supposed to go, as a leader, if it doesn't frustrate you or if it doesn't get you angry, then there's a problem. You need to be fired.
Why should you unleash your self-anger to the people you're working with?
No. I did not say that you unleash.
Not you.
No, I get what you mean.
Okay.
So it's not right. Then that is not a good leader. Because a good leader should be able to manage their own emotions, the triggers. So it calls for self-awareness as a leader.
All right.
Yes, you know that if figures are not really moving the way they're supposed to move, and you are aware of yourself that this makes me angry, then you should be able to manage your emotions. So emotional intelligence as well is very key in leadership, because you cannot be now chaotic and go and start unleashing your anger to your people. That's being chaotic, being a chaotic leader.
You're right.
You get it?
All right, there's a leader here. King Dantimax says, I believe this is the best show at the moment, 100%. Leadership is an art that a few are able to master. The skill in itself is a thick book that can easily draw a lazy person away from reading it. Then the aspect on embracing the fact that these are leaders that have been given authority and sense of authority to administer this. So we are inviting now leadership at home. I believe we've so much captured leadership in the corporate society and in other engagements, but there is now an issue in leadership at home. Maybe you have a family, your wife doesn't respect you, then you're coming to a space of work. So you want to get this the respect from the people you're working with, because at home you don't have that touch of respect. How would you take that approach?
There's this cliche that respect is earned.
All right.
Yeah. So even at home, as a leader of the home, as a man of the home, if you're not being respected, can you sit down with your family and have a conversation? By the leadership.
Okay.
Do you believe that, Moses?
I suppose.
Are you a leader?
Naturally.
Why? Everyone is a leader. I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
Like as a wife, you are a leader at home. You have the home to manage. Yeah.
Indeed.
You have children to raise. It calls for decision making. And you are a leader because anytime you're making decisions, you're a leader. Anytime, even for you, you have your goals for your life.
Indeed.
You're a leader. You get it? So everyone is a leader. So if you're not getting the respect, for me, it will be a point of, let's have this conversation. What is the problem? Yeah. And through that, you'll be able to see that probably there's something, a comment you said some few months ago that is still being carried until now, that nobody's listening to you. So it is really, leadership is about being responsible, just first of all to yourself. How do you behave? How do you communicate? How do you carry yourself?
All right.
Yeah. Are you even sharpening your skills as a leader? Because leaders are not born. Yeah.
Indeed.
They're made.
Yeah. You said leaders born or developed.
Yes. You know, it's usually an assumption when people say that leaders are born. No, we are made leaders. Like for me, my journey where I started as a leader is not where I am currently. I have made a lot of mistakes. I have failed many times. Kuna. No. You know why? There are some skills that you have to develop, and you can do that only maybe when you take a course, like a leadership course. Leaders who are very serious with their leadership, we take a lot of courses.
All right.
Yeah, we go and learn. Even as a founder, you go and learn, how do I lead? And you're already leading, but how can I lead better? So leaders are not born. There's this quote by Vince Lombardi. He said, hard work and effort enables all of us, not one person, all of us to reach to a specific goal.
Right.
And even leaders can reach to a specific goals through hard work and effort.
Indeed.
You get. So if I want to be a leader, then let me put in the effort and sharpen my skills.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now in the aspect of the family now, so who should take the center? Yes, a man is the leader there, but who should take control? Should we adapt to the respect thing that you mentioned, that now because the mom also has their own areas of leadership and also the male also has their own, so who should take center stage?
You see, in family, it's about inclusivity.
Okay.
You see, like for family, also a family is a company.
Indeed.
You know that. So for you, Moses, when you get your family, maybe you already have.
I have. Indeed.
You will come up with what is your family vision? Indeed. Where are you taking these people the next 5 years? Me, I want my husband to tell me, where are we going?
Yeah, and I've been telling my wife that thing for quite some time.
How are we getting there? How are we going to execute?
Indeed.
ABCD so that we reach there. So if you find a home where they don't have such discussions, then you will not see consistent or strategic growth even in families. Yeah.
But how should you women speak to us as the fathers in the house?
How should we speak? I feel like the environment should be... It's a free environment. By then nowadays there's nothing like that. It's command. We have moved from there. You're commanding people to move this way. You are instructing people to move this way. No. Actually, if it's a liberal environment, we sit together. Where they say, well, this is where we are going. I give my opinion. But at the end of the day, the man is the one who is leading.
Indeed.
Who is leading the home.
All right.
Yeah.
So even as we come to the bottom line, I believe there is characteristics of leadership. Then I'd like you to share with us, maybe there are leaders that are watching us right now, and we have also some of the upcoming leaders with us in this space. So what are some of the characteristics that build a great leader?
Yes. A great leader should be should have a character of being a visionary person.
Amazing.
You must know where you're going, and you must be clear about it, and you must be able to come up with the how of getting people there. The other aspect of it is a great leader is a person who has a lot of compassion. Remember, Jesus had a lot of compassion.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, and he's a very good example of leadership. So, as a leader, you need to have compassion to the people you're leading. Yeah. The other character of it is influence. Leader, if you cannot influence the people you're leading, you'll have 500 people under you and nothing is moving.
Indeed.
So how are you influencing these people? There are people who can, there's some leaders who have a character of influencing people from a threat place or from a place of manipulation.
Nitakuvuta. Okay, amazing.
Usipopiga hii nini hii targets ufikishe hapa,
your job is on the line.
Unaenda nyumbani.
That's
you're influencing through threats, and that is not a sustainable way of leading. Because with time, these people will leave you. Are you able to run that company alone? Yeah. So are you influencing people from a place of inspiration?
Indeed.
Like, this is a vision that I have. When we do ABCD, this is what you are going to achieve. And even you as a person who is going to execute this, you're going to earn, you're going to grow as an individual, Yeah, so it is a win-win scenario.
Right.
So that is a way of influencing people.
Okay.
Now, the other aspect of it is you must have the leadership skills, really.
Right.
You cannot just say that I'm a leader, I've been appointed, but what is the quality of your leadership? What is the quality of your leadership?
Indeed.
Yeah?
Indeed.
Are you able to make your decisions as fast as possible when there are challenges and, the issues in the office? Are you able to make that call, those tough decisions that sometimes by the way you lock the office and you just have to think toughly with yourself as well as a leader. Yeah.
All right.
And make those
Think
decisions.
tough. Sawa sawa. I believe now this is the point where we give you, Sianto,
Okay.
to give us a voice of reason. That of course we've had a number of leaders in the societies and the engagements. Now I want you to give us now your thoughts that you've already interacted with so many other leaders, and you know where the mistake is, you know where the blunder is, and this is the only way we can be able to correct it. So as you internalize that, there are many leaders that perhaps will watch this particular episode. Later on, they'll come to learn a few things out of that. So as you give us your power line of close, what are the best things you can say unto this moment? And of course, I'll also give you your time to shout out some people and also shout out to the organizations that you're working with as well. And maybe you can thank some people as well.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, thank you so much for this opportunity, Moses. What I can tell people is that anybody can be a leader. It's an encouragement that anyone can be a leader. And where you are right now in your leadership journey, you can become better.
Indeed.
How do you become better? If you're in an office, can you ask your immediate leader, how can I volunteer? How can I help you?
Indeed.
Seek for these leadership positions as well. Don't just sit there and you're not doing anything and you want to become a leader. Leaders, they are able to ask for those big ask. So ask for the opportunity to lead. And the other aspect is of it is go for training, and coaching.
Indeed.
You're going to sharpen your skills as a leader. You can come to our company, Scaling Up Partners. It's a sales and leadership company. And what we do is that we also train people to become better leaders in their organizations, right? So you have to pay that investment of becoming a better leader. Yes, and for me, it's an exciting opportunity to be a leader, and I don't see. What I tell people also is that let's have grace for leaders. Let's have grace for them.
Right. You're a trainer. I
Yes.
want to get your services now.
Yes.
How can we reach out?
Yes, I can be reached out on. I'm on LinkedIn.
Amazing.
Sianto Kekaya. You'll be able to see all the things that I do. I train salespeople. We train leaders, and after our training, you'll see that you'll start enjoying your job. You'll be able to know who you are. You'll be able to, achieve the goals that you're supposed to achieve at work, and then you make your leader achieve their vision.
Indeed.
As expected.
All right.
So we are going to give you that push
Uko
that
TikTok?
you need. Siko TikTok, tuko LinkedIn.
Amazing.
And my phone number is 0703 478 426.
Amazing.
My company, if you go to my website, it's a www.scalinguprevenues.com.
Indeed.
You'll be able to find everything about us.
Amazing.
Yes, and
All
also I'm an author. I have written a book.
Umekuja nazo tu.
Sijakuja nayo lakini. Yes,
Better.
I've co-authored a book called How She Leads.
Amazing.
You can also find the details of that. But I've also put it in our website.
Amazing.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Sianto Kekaya, for your lovely insights on leadership. And we believe at some point, we of course, we need an extension towards this. That was just an alignment to embracing leadership to a better tomorrow. I believe the conversation still continues, right? We didn't deal with mental health as far as leadership is concerned, and I believe that is also another broader topic as well. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, even as we come to the bottom line of this conversation, it is Social Wednesday, and I believe leadership is very best when the vision comes to a reality. And of course, it's also good that Sianto has mentioned that at some point it's good for the leaders to step aside so that when the vision comes to a reality, it now makes sense to the entire corporate or company that you guys had effortlessly worked on. Now, that is just but a glimpse of leadership, and of course the principles of leadership. Later in the days, of course, we'll invite Siento once again to help us understand the broader outlook on leadership. But to that point in time, I believe we could come to a close of the conversation. Now, see you tomorrow as we dive into Artistic Thursday. There is a young man, a young boy, and of course who's young but spoken, will be ministering unto us in its spoken words environment. What is good to say? See you tomorrow. My name is Mos Sketch, and this has been The Morning Drift.